So what comes in your mind when you hear the word tribal conflict?
Boom, just distraction and other many negative things. But before we go there, we need to know the definition. Or basically what tribal conflict is. I would say tribal conflict is just clashes or sharp arguments in opposing tribe members or tribes. The emphasis is on tribe because if me and my boyfriend fight over him not giving me a Valentine present, I wouldn't really call that a tribal conflict.
Definitely you don't call that a tribal conflict. Today we are going to talk about majorly the East Africa, and we are going to major on the northern part of Kenya and South Sudan, because she's from South Sudan and I'm from the north part of Kenya, that is Maasai. So we will start by, she'll take us through South Sudan tribal conflict, who and how.
South Sudan tribal conflict. Basically, I would say as an example of tribes are I would say the dominating ones, which is the two dominating tribes in South Sudan. We have the Dinka and the Nuer, and they're always clashing. But there is definitely many tribes with disputes. I would say even a country in general. So I would say all the tribes. We have 66 tribes, and they're always clashing between each other. Even the peaceful ones, if being attacked, boom, there's always a fight.
When we talk about tribal conflict back in my country, that's Kenya.
Yeah.
Especially, I said we're going to talk about the Maasai, the Samburu, the Pokot, and the Turkana from the north. Because even the Turkana, they have sometimes, I think they do cross the border to South Sudan. Yeah. And in my part, where I come from, it's basically about pasture. People think it's just about pasture, and that's why they call them bandits. But it's more than that. It's much deep rooted than that. It's caused by the colonial land injustice. It's caused by political influence. It's caused by religious indifference. So it's just a broad topic. So
I would say in South Sudan the same. There is definitely colonial influence from the past situation, and we have the religion. Religion has also played a big part of it in the country, and among other causes.
I think every Kenyan knows what's happening in the north part of Kenya, that is between Turkana and Pokot. It's people will call it, it's more of political. It's not just something that started the other day. It started way back, and when you grew up, when kids started growing up, now they started, mentoring them or, introducing them to that mentality that is your enemy, and you grew up knowing that is my enemy. So let me talk more on Maasai, for instance, and Samburu, and sometimes with Pokot. We basically fight because of, pasture and water point. But I will take it as the reason why we are fighting is because of a scarce of the resources. And what resulted to the scarce resources is basically what happened when they came and demarcated our land. When the British, who owns, basically I will say that they own like 60% or 80% of my land back at home. That is in Laikipia.
And these cattle that we're seeing here, they're not from your farm.
No, these are cattle from generally Pokot, various parts of Pokot, all the way down into the Rift Valley, Karpedo, Ginyang, all those you hear, Losiolo, which is I guess more Samburu. I would say there's a bit of mismanagement of rangelands to the west, to the north. So due to mismanagement of rangelands, grass has become pretty sparse, so the people are moving further and further to find some form of grass.
So who is to be blamed for this?
I would say there are many parties connected. We cannot just say it's due to the colonial power, like government propaganda. But I would definitely say there are factors, but there is also the people themselves. And the only solution is to advocate for more peaceful coexistence with different tribes. We just need awareness, advocacy, activism, yeah, and education on the matter.
Do you believe in the saying that where there is no justice, expect no peace?
I would definitely say it's a factor that is contributing to the and not peaceful coexistence. But I would say also that injustices will always be there. So we cannot just say because there's injustice or there's things again that are not to our advantage, we just have to not be peaceful with each other. The good thing we can do is like share and be united.
I think the most important thing is understanding the cause of the conflict. And when you understand the cause of the conflict, then it's so easy for you to look for a resolution. So what do you think are the resolution for this conflict?
Like I said, peaceful coexistence. Peaceful coexistence.
Peaceful
Yes,
coexistence.
the strategy would always be the same. We have to educate people and why being being indifferent to each other is not good. You just have to educate them on the dangers of tribal conflicts. So basically education first, and now that they know it, we do more like activism. You have to do action. Are you still beating people from other tribes? Are you still segregating? Are you still refusing your children to marry from this tribe?
That's so interesting to hear. And from myself, I would say when we have a coexisting community, there will be peaceful, there will be equality. And when we achieve that, our kids will grow up knowing that we all are Africans, we all grow as Kenyans, not defined by tribe. And that's exactly what we want. And when Africa realized that it's time for us to come together and work together to achieve what the Western are doing, what the Chinese are doing. And I think we have great minds in Africa, we have good resources. Yeah, and we can only use these resources in our brain well when there is peace. So, peace, my people.